And I'd like to ask now Taryn, I know you've been very active to present your work and how you do. Australia, I think we've already noticed, seems in the community energy sector a little bit different, because what you told us already is that you have a quite high share of women, and that is, of course, what we would like to learn from. How have you managed that? Taryn, again.
Hi everyone again, and this first image is a picture of our last National Community Energy Congress that was held in Melbourne, Australia, and we had about 700 people attend, and as you can see from the faces, there's a significant amount of women in the room, and certainly the majority was women in regards to attendance. And we also have on the board of the Coalition for Community Energy, it is 4 women and 1 male, so that's been quite common throughout the history of the Coalition for Community Energy, and it's also quite common across the community energy sector. So I'm just going to paint a little bit of a picture of what's happening in the Australian space, and that's certainly not to say that you know, I haven't had my own struggles more broadly within the renewables sector. You know, it's not to say that I'm not frequently sort of the token female at many kind of presentations that occur. That does happen to me, and I also have the experience of many times taking people out to the wind farm who've never met me, who assume that my name must be a male's name, because it is quite androgynous, and it is used for both men and women. So they're frequently quite surprised when they come to the wind farm and find that the manager, you know, of a decade is actually a young woman. Are you now seeing the map of Australia? Is that coming up? Has that screen changed? Goodness. How about now? Is that working?
No. I mean, still the first slide. I can see your
on my screen. Yeah, on my screen it's the second one. Is it still the first?
I still see the conference, yes.
Okay. Has that changed now?
No.
Okay, well, I might just have to move on. I think if it's not working, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm on my screen, it is showing the second slide, so I'm sorry it's not working. The second visual, which is very small on your screen, is a map of Australia, and it outlines all of the community energy groups across the country, the national landscape. So we have around about 105 groups currently in Australia, and 70 active projects, and a lot of those projects are in the small scale solar, so under 100 kilowatt scale, and it also is representative of what's happening in regards to the state-based renewable energy targets and emission reduction targets. So currently on a federal level, we don't have agreement to reach zero net emissions or formal agreement to reach zero net emissions by 2050, but all of the states have set that mandate, and a lot of them are in process to set emission reduction targets and have quite significant renewable energy targets as well. The third image, which you also can't see, is of our wind farm in Australia, so Hepburn Wind. And Hepburn Wind is an all-woman run wind farm, so we are 3 part-time female executives. We are a cooperative model, so it is that one member, one vote approach. We've been operating now for 9 years, and we have over 2,000 members. We are a 4.1 megawatt wind farm, and we've just submitted a planning permit to add 7.44 megawatts of solar PV and also a 10 megawatt hour battery. So hopefully in the next year or two, we will see those new projects built. We also have a partnership program that's called Hepburn ZNet, which is our zero net emissions program by 2030. And that's really broadening out the scope of what we're doing in the community. So we are, actively working in the other sectors such as farming, waste and transport. So doing things like electric vehicle bulk buys and EV charging infrastructure. Some of the I guess the common and emergent models that we're seeing across Australia are within the community energy sector are a lot of bulk buys. So it's very, very common, and it's a real easy win for a lot of communities to get them engaged, get them mobilised to you know, get momentum in the kinds of projects that they're working on. And it also works across that intersection with community energy groups, climate action networks, climate emergency groups, so they can all, you know, find a place to kind of come together and collaborate. We're also seeing a lot of donation models, so solar and batteries on community facilities. These are typically quite small, under 30 kilowatts, and then small scale ownership and investment models under 100 kilowatts. And then more the mid-scale models. So this is, you know, the Hepburn wind model, and there's several others that are, you know, either wind or solar farms, either complete or in the pipeline. There's also community energy retailing occurring, large-scale community co-investment in commercial projects, mini grids, virtual power plants, and then this real movement of 100% renewable communities and zero carbon communities that's really gaining a lot of traction at the moment. We have a widely accepted principle in the community energy sector around open source. So in general, all IP that is developed is really openly shared. We have a knowledge hub with the Coalition for Community Energy where groups can upload their information, and we've seen that as a real shared principle, really nationally. Everyone understands that they're, you know, under-resourced and that they need to share learnings widely, and that kind of ethic is very strong in the country. And also I guess the more collaborative governance models and cooperative models are also really thriving in the Australian context. I guess, you know, the community energy sector is unique in the renewable sector, as it seems to be in many other countries. Generally, in the renewable energy sector, there is an overrepresentation of men in the commercial sector. There's often a lot of scholarships and different programs and you know, I guess sort of working groups to address that inequality and that tension. However, in the community power movement, the majority has historically been women to date. That dynamic hasn't been well researched in the Australian context, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to do more research in that space. Okay, I'm sorry that my slides didn't work, but I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much. Maybe we can share the slides after the event on the conference website and the homepage. Yeah, thanks so much. I think Australia, that is really a quite inspiring example, because the government of Australia, as Janine already indicated also, it doesn't have maybe internationally a great reputation as renewable energy supporter, rather as seems to be a challenging situation. So to see your success, it's really excellent.